Hello, everyone. Just waiting for everyone to join us. Welcome, welcome. There's a few people just coming on now. I wanted to say, yeehaw! I'm super excited to be here with my very good friend, Lindsay. I'll do a formal introduction in just a couple minutes, but as people sign on, we'll just hold on for just one quick minute. I'm here today with you from not so sunny Nanaimo today on Vancouver Island. It's a little bit gray and cloudy, but I've heard that for those of you who are in Calgary, that the weather hasn't been amazing either. You've had quite a bit of rain. Is that right, Lindsay? You've had some rain there?
We haven't. In fact, right now we're under a severe thunderstorm warning. They switched it from a watch to a warning.
Interesting. Good to know.
Hailstorms, especially northeast.
I heard you're going to have an awesome weekend, super hot weekend coming up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 25 or so on the weekend and sunny. So great way to end virtual Stampede on my note.
You guys deserve it. Okay, so I've got quite a few signed on already, which is fantastic, and they're going to keep continuing to sign on. Welcome to everyone. This is going to be a really special happy hour. I'm super excited to have my friend Lindsay from Calgary Stampede with us today. I'm going to start the presentation as per normal and go over a few things with you, and then Lindsay's going to take over and do some stuff on the Calgary Stampede. This is really special because, as most of you know, our office, Anderson Vacations, main office, is in Calgary, so it's our home. So we're showing you our city. Even though I'm not there, I do get to spend quite a bit of time in Calgary, and I'm actually an Alberta girl. I grew up in Drumheller, so I'm going to touch on that a little bit shortly, but we're going to get started right away. I have another special guest that will be joining us. She's not on just yet because she's in a meeting, but Nancy Jackson with Tourism Calgary will be popping on to say hello as well. So I hope you like our Calgary Stampede gear. We're all geared up. We're having this virtual event, and we will get started. So let's get going. Most of you know who I am. I'm Darcie Guarderas. I'm the Director of Business Development for Anderson Vacations. And I just love my country, and I love Alberta with all my heart. Before you all came on, Lindsay and I were talking about Alberta and how I grew up in Drumheller, and my heart is absolutely there. And I have so many great partners in Alberta, lots of travel agent partners there as well. I know from the list I looked at, a lot of you have signed on, so welcome. And throughout Canada, it's great to have you. Why would you consider, even thinking about Canada right now? Of course, besides the obvious that we aren't really allowed to travel internationally, but because right now there's no crowds here. So it's the best time to explore our own backyard. We've got the Canadian dollar on our side, and it's nice and safe. Everyone's being really careful with COVID and really, doing social distancing. The borders are starting to open up between provinces, which is really exciting. The Yukon's opened up to BC and the territories. There's a little bit of a bubble in the east that they're opening up to, but it's slowly going to start to happen. And I'm hearing about all these people who are traveling within their own provinces. And that's so important, you guys, because we need to support our own economies and put that money back in. I always say that for every dollar you spend on a bottle of Canadian wine, you put $3 in the economy. So I do my very best to support on that level and put the money back in. So again, thanks for joining us. Give me 1 second.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers. We're gonna get to some more cheers in a second. I've got a wonderful map here, I love this wonderful panoramic photograph of Calgary. Most of you know where it's located, but very central, close to the mountains for skiing. It's a fabulous, fabulous location. Oh, I see that we've got Nancy coming on. So before I get too far in, I'll just wait till her audio kicks in, and we'll do a quick welcome to Nancy. Let's just see if we can hear her. Hi, Nancy, are you there? She's just tweaking. I love she's got her cowboy hat on too. So we're all in the spirit. Oh, we'll give her another minute and I'll give you a little bit more information about Calgary. So Calgary's location is fantastic, like I said, to get to the mountains. It's a great gateway for lots of places, and we have all kinds of tours that go through Calgary. We have weekend getaway packages, all kinds of stuff that you guys can sell to your clients as things start to open up, which is really exciting. So let's talk about our beverage of choice. So I am actually drinking a Caesar, which is originally from Calgary. It was created in Calgary. Did you know that, Lindsay, that's originally from Calgary?
Yes, at the Westin Hotel and the Owl's Nest restaurant.
And was it an Italian gentleman that created it, I believe?
I'm not sure about that part, but I know it was just right in downtown Calgary at the West End.
Awesome. So normally I would have my Caesar with vodka, but today I'm having it with gin. So we had gin a couple weeks ago as well at one of our other presentations. This gin is from Eau Claire Distillery just outside of Calgary, which is an amazing little place. I'm going to tell you more about it, but I think I've got Nancy there. Hi, Nancy. Can you hear us?
I can. Hello. Can you see me?
Yes, perfectly. I love your hat.
Thank you. Well, we are having virtual Stampede right now, so.
Fabulous. Well, we're so happy to have you. Thanks for joining us. Nancy Jackson is with Tourism Calgary, and she's going to pop on now to say hello to all of you and welcome all of our agency partners to this super fun virtual event where we're celebrating Calgary and the surrounding area, and of course, Stampede. Of course, we're missing it this year, but we're doing it virtually, and there's all kinds of wonderful things going on, like drive-through pancake breakfasts and things like that, that I will have my good friend Lindsay touch on. But Nancy, you take it away if there's anything you wanted to say to the good folks listening.
Thanks, Darcie. I just wanted to say a quick hello to everybody that's on the happy hour right now. And I'm actually standing in a neighborhood. You can see some lovely greenery in the background. So when I get home, I will have a drink and cheers with you. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of you that have joined on the happy hour today. And thanks to our partners at Eau Claire Distillery, the Calgary Stampede, and of course Anderson Vacations. We really appreciate all of your partnership, and I know you're going to have a lot of fun on the call today. Get some great information from Lindsay, enjoy some cocktails, get a recipe from Eau Claire. So have a great happy hour, and we know that everything is not as it usually is right now, and we're doing Stampede virtually and with some a different look on it, but certainly we're trying to keep that spirit in Calgary. And when travel opens up again, we look forward to welcoming all of your guests and clients back to Calgary. So yahoo, and have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks for stepping in. That's wonderful. All right, so there's a couple of things I want to cover, you guys, before I move on with housekeeping. I always forget this stuff. There's the chat, of course, so please feel free to put things into the chat anytime. I'll go back to that afterwards for questions that you might have. And we have an awesome, actually 3 prize packages for people who participate tonight. At the end of the presentation, we have 3 really easy questions. So all you got to do is pay attention, and we're going to throw some information out throughout the presentation, maybe make a few notes, pay some attention, and you can win some stuff from Eau Claire Distillery. So that's really exciting. Some of it might be drinkable. I'm just going to say that. Okay. So Eau Claire Distillery is 40 minutes south of Calgary, and I actually visited this this lovely distillery. You can do a little tour of it. This gin that I have here, the Parlor Gin, is actually an award-winning gin. It's fantastic. It's delicious. It's great in Caesars. It's great in gin and tonic. Wonderful, wonderful beverage. They have a new program for 2020 where you can kind of step back in time and you can go and do this little tour. It's a prohibition tour. So it gives you all the juicy goods on the past, kind of dark little secrets of the past that happened when Prohibition was going on in Alberta. So they're fantastic. And we have a video that they actually did for us. I'm gonna see if hopefully it doesn't jump right to the video. And this is the video. So this is Chelsea, and she's gonna show you how to make a cocktail today out of their distillery. Just give me one sec, here we go.
Hi there, my name is Chelsea Barkley. I'm from Eau Claire Distillery, Alberta's first craft distillery located in Turner Valley, Alberta. We wanted to welcome you to Anderson Vacations Happy Hour. We're so happy that you all can make it, and we're very excited to sponsor today's happy hour. So today, in light of missing Stampede and missing seeing all of you down at Stampede, we are going to be making a Negroni with our famous Parlor Gin. Our Parlor Gin was one of our first products and is actually one of our most world-renowned products. It actually won Best London Dry Gin at the London Spirits Competition in 2019. So we are very excited about this product. So for a Negroni, it's very simple. All you need is 3 easy ingredients. 1 ounce Parlor Gin, 1 ounce Campari, and 1 ounce vermouth. We prefer to use a local wine from Spirit Hills Winery, keeping it all Alberta during these Stampede times. Give it a good stir. Good count to 10 for that. And then garnish with an orange peel. Give it a good twist and put it in. You can also light it if you like with a lighter, but there you go. There's your Parlor Gin Negroni. Once again, welcome to the Anderson Vacations Happy Hour. We hope to see you soon at the distillery. If you haven't been out to the distillery before, we'd love to invite you out. And if you have been out to the distillery, we're excited to welcome you back. Cheers.
Awesome, cheers. And I'm just looking at the chat panel, I see a few other people are having Caesars, so that's fantastic. Next time you have one, you've got to make it with Parlor Gin, which is fantastic. Let me see if I can flip to the next.
Hi there, my name's...
Oops, hold on, sorry. Okay, let's start with what we're doing here tonight. So what we decided to do at Anderson Vacations, a lot of you deal with our specialists in office who are the experts on everything Canada. And really, because they're in Calgary and they all live there, we asked our team, what are your favorite things about Calgary? Because it's so close to all of our hearts. So I'm super excited to talk about Jacinta, Megan, Pip, and Wesley, 4 members from our team. And they're going to give you some of their inside secrets on what to see and do in Calgary. Now, this is the lovely Jacinta, who is our group lead. This is one of her favorite areas to go to because she loves art. And there's a phenomenal art scene in Calgary. So that mural there is called Up the Alley, which is the balloon mural that Jacinta's holding on to. And then also, this is in East Village. And the other one is also in East Village, and that's called Device to Root Under Our Evil, located in the East Village. So there's lots of great murals. You can walk around, great safe community to walk and just really enjoy. In East Village as well, there's this phenomenal older building called Simmons Simmons Limited. And inside here is one of my favorite restaurants. It's Argentinian. It's called Char Bar. You better be hungry when you go here. It is absolutely beautiful on the banks of the Bow River and has the most phenomenal rooftop patio. So if you've not been there, you must go. There's also a coffee roaster in this building, and it's a great location. So one of the iconic places in Calgary that you must visit. Well, you know what? Who would have guessed that a library would be on our list of top places to visit? But this library is absolutely beautiful. In fact, in September of last year, I was hosting a tour with a journalist that was coming to Calgary, and this was one of the stops, and it was my first visit to the library, and I was completely blown away by the architecture. It is an award-winning building. It's featured in all kinds of magazines. Because of the architecture, you can do a 1-hour tour. It's free to get in and to walk around. You'll spend more than an hour here. It is absolutely beautiful. And if you look at the very front there, you can see Jacinta just posing in front of it. This actually appeared in Time magazine and the New York Times top lists. So it's beautiful. If you live in Calgary or you're visiting, you must stop here. I love these interactive, hats off to Pip for putting together this presentation. She's done these phenomenal interactive videos for us this time. This is on Studio Bell, 5 floors of interactive exhibits and memorabilia, telling the story of music in Canada. It's just beautiful. You can go in there and you can step into a sound booth and actually record your own songs with a friend if you like. And the mission of this Studio Bell is to give Canada a place that amplifies music, sharing, and understanding of music in Canada. So they've got the Canadian Music Hall of Fame there. And so Neil Young and all of our famous Canadian singers, you can view all kinds of exhibits relating to them. So super fun. Now this is our own Pip's favorite area, Music Mile. She absolutely loves this place because Pip's all about the music. All about the music. She sings in all kinds of choirs. She's always singing. She's phenomenal. You can see a picture of her in the top left, as well as on the right. You can actually see her singing. In the video that moves around, let me see if I can get it to move around again. Let's just see. That's Old Beautiful Brewery, where you can actually have amazing chocolate stout beer and blood orange beer as well. Actually, I think I skipped one. Hang on. Give me one quick second. I'm going to step back for a second. I might have this in the wrong order. I think I'm on the wrong slide. Let me jump to the.
I have video of Pip singing in her choir. I just ran into her around Christmas time at one of the Christmas markets, and was just stopped listening to this beautiful choir, and then I realized Pip was one of them, so I recorded it. I have some video. I should send it to you.
You better send it to me. I actually have some video myself, and she's really terrific, and she absolutely loves it and has her heart in it. She, besides singing, she also loves beer. So she loves all kinds of beer, and this is the slide I was looking for. So if you look at the top one, you can see the beers there. They're actually on a ski, and what's really cool about the brewery area here, let me just move my little thing here. Inglewood Breweries, there's several there. There's about 20, but these are some of Pip's favorites. They have really cool themes to them. The one on the right-hand side, you can see that it actually has these super cool bike racks outside. The top one, your beer comes, the flight comes on a ski. And then in the bottom one, it actually comes inside a muffin tin. And some of the beers that Pip loves are the, as I mentioned before, the amazing chocolate stout. There's a blood orange beer that she loves. And one of her very favorites is called Cake Face beer, and also a vanilla cappuccino. So who knew that there was all these kinds of beers? I've heard even that there's a peanut butter beer that's pretty phenomenal there. She loves this area because it has this incredible sense of community, as well as all across the mile. It's really got this sense of community where you can feel like you belong. All kinds of places you can go in and sing. They have music. Some of them have music 5 days a week. Some have music 7 days a week, which is pretty phenomenal to be able to go down anytime and enjoy that. Okay, so Pedal Pub. I wonder how many of you have done the Pedal Pub in Calgary. What a fun way to, jump around to the different pubs. Nobody's driving, so it's very safe. And the Pedal Pub is really unique to Calgary. I know there is one similar to it in Victoria, but you can see the map. You can do this interactive visit around to all the different breweries. It's social, you meet lots of people, and a ton of fun. So remember, the Pedal Pub in Calgary. And of course, you know how I feel about food tours. Absolutely love them. And this is no exception. The Inglewood tour is phenomenal. It visits lots of historic buildings, famous restaurants. There's one restaurant in particular, it's called Rouge, that was actually highest ranking in the San Pellegrino top 100 list of restaurants. Kind of historic, wonderful food. And these tours, of course, they're social. So you get to meet other people, and I always say the heart to any city is through your stomach. So a great way to explore. And Megan's favorite, so Megan is one of our FIT specialists. So you might be calling in to do an FIT booking and you might get Megan. And one of her favorite things to do is to go to Heritage Park. And she goes every single year, year after year. She just loves it. You can see a picture of her in the left, and the video on the right is a video that she took. It is an amazing experience. Stepping back in time, it's like a living museum. I think it's Canada's largest living museum, and people are dressed in period costume. And one of the things that Megan pointed out to us after her recent visit on Canada Day was the fact that everyone was very careful about, making sure that there was social distancing, wearing masks wherever necessary. And I think that's really important to note, that all of our partners that we work with are very cautious and very aware of your safety and your client's safety. So it's a must-see when you're in Calgary, that's for sure. I go as often as I possibly can. And then, of course, who doesn't love the Calgary Zoo? You've got to go there to see the lemurs, the penguins, the giant pandas, of course. And this is actually one of the world's top zoos for conservation research. So you can spend a full day at the Calgary Zoo, and it's a must-see. You don't have to be a kid. Anyone can enjoy the Calgary Zoo. Wesley, who's also in our group department, she did this incredible tour, Rocky Mountain Sidecar Adventures. What a unique way to see such a beautiful city in a sidecar. You're not driving, you've got commentary from your driver, and you've got a completely different bird's eye view of the city, completely unique. And you can even do these tours where they stop at different pubs along the way. And like I said, you're not driving, so you can indulge. They actually have a tour called the Creepy Calgary Tour that's kind of like a spooky side of Calgary tour that's really unique as well. And Wesley absolutely loves this place. It's about 30 minutes outside of Calgary. It's called Yamnuska Wolf Dog. I think it's the retreat, or let me just make sure I wrote this down. Sanctuary, sorry. So I didn't even know that there was a wolf dog sanctuary that existed. And these animals are absolutely beautiful. It's a preserve where they're taken care of, and you can go and view these animals up close. Some of them are a bit skittish depending on how much wolf they actually have in them, because a portion of them is wolf and a portion is dog. So you can actually come up and interact with some of them if they're not too shy, which is really, really interesting. And they test all of them to tell you, so they can actually explain to you the percentage of each animal, how much is wolf and how much is actually dog. And I have a really amazing video here, so just listen carefully to this. So now Lindsay has 3 cats, so I'm
yeah, I've got their attention now.
I wonder how they're doing with that.
They were all sleeping and now they've got their heads up.
So that's another really fabulous, unique experience that you can do just outside of Calgary. And now, before I hand it off to Lindsay, I want to talk about one more place that is really near and dear to my heart, Dinosaur Provincial Park in Drumheller. I mean, the Badlands are amazing. I remember the first time taking my husband here and driving down the highway, and then suddenly just sort of going down, like just disappearing off this flat highway into this incredible valley. It's so beautiful, from the hoodoos to the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology, the Atlas coal mine, stepping back in history and really paying respects to the mining that took place many, many years ago that my grandfather actually was involved in. He was a coal miner. So it's really special to me. It's great for families, for couples, wonderful accommodation there, from camping all the way up to nothing really luxurious as far as accommodation goes, but clean and comfortable and well located. And again, only an hour and a half out of Calgary. So there's lots of options from Calgary that you can take off. We didn't even touch on Banff in that area, but there's so many wonderful places. So let's jump to the next slide. So of course, the entire team took a vote and said, what's our favorite thing about Calgary? Well, that was unanimous, of course, Lindsay. It was the Calgary Stampede. And every single year, our team has a Calgary Stampede party. It's as big as our holiday party, to be honest. We all get dressed up and we head down to the Stampede. We have our own little Stampede barbecue. And we're really sad that we're not doing it this year, but we're super excited that you're here to do it with us and do a virtual event to share the Calgary Stampede. So welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you. Thanks so much for inviting me, and thank you everybody for joining on Anderson Vacations Happy Hour. I've got my, it's non-alcoholic, but it's part of the mini donut drive-through that we have going on at Stampede Park right now. We do have some activities safely distanced, and one of them is the mini donut drive-through. We can go and you can get the family squeezed mojito lemonade, and it is so good. So I did that along with getting the mini donuts. I don't know if you can see, I've only got 2 left. There was 24 in a big bucket, but I've sort of, I'm rationing them. So I think, Darcie, did we want to maybe try to show our We Will Ride video
let's
first, if that's possible? And, you know, we announced on April 23rd, sadly, that the 2020 edition of the Calgary Stampede would be canceled this year. And it was kind of like watching the Titanic movie. I think we all knew what was gonna, how it was gonna end. We all knew it was coming, but when it was announced, it was truly a very sad thing. As we all have to, you know, take a break this year to keep everybody safe. But we created this We Will Ride Again video. It's about 1.5 minutes, and let's see if we can go ahead and show that video.
Here we go.
I'll tell you about a few of the things we're doing.
Every rider can be sure of one thing. Eventually, you'll get bucked off. For over 108 years, we've been on a great ride. But this year, well, this year we've been thrown. Because this year, we won't be able to put on our Stampede. As much as we'll miss it, it's the right thing to do. That doesn't mean we won't see your community spirit across our city. This year, we'll see it in the healthcare workers, the doctors, the nurses, with the truckers and farmers and the frontline workers. We'll see it in everyone pitching in to help get through this, and we will see courage to match that of any bull rider. So here we are. For the first time, we find ourselves in the dirt, a little mixed up, a little messed up, a little muddied. But you can be sure of one thing. We'll shake it off and get back in that saddle. We'll ride again. And when we do, we'll take that great ride together.
Sorry, I think this is a link off of YouTube. But there's the end there. Stampede Park. It's on our YouTube channel if you want to go and take another look at that video further. But I'll just tell you a couple of things that we are doing for Stampede 2020 and then launch into what you will hopefully see next year at Stampede 2021 when you come down. We're really trying to keep the spirit alive with the Stampede. I mean, it's been going for over 108 years, so you know it's much beloved and embraced by the community in Calgary. You couldn't last that long without the community support. And this Calgary Stampede is a non-profit organization, so I mean the money goes back into the park development. Right now we're expanding the convention center space, the BMO Center. And once that's completed in about 4 years' time, it will be the second largest in Canada after Toronto. So great economic impact for the community to bring in the large conventions and that, you know, the hotels and all the hospitality industry here will benefit from. So for Stampede 2020, of course, you know, we've worked very closely with the Alberta Health authorities to make sure everybody's healthy and safe and socially distanced. I actually do have a mask. It's a little paisley one I found the other day. Little pink one, that's my favorite color. But we have a number of things going on. We kicked off Stampede last Friday with a huge fireworks display, and we'll be wrapping up Sunday night's virtual Stampede again with a very spectacular fireworks display. So if you are in Calgary, it's going to be amazing on Sunday night. So get yourself to a location where you can see it. It is also broadcast online on, I think, the Fun 1060 channel. It's all choreographed to music, so you can sort of follow along the fireworks as they happen. But we've had a number of drive-through events through Stampede Park. Yesterday we had the BMO Kids Day pancake breakfast. So I mean, that actually didn't get canceled at all. They were still able to do it. It was drive-through. You stayed in your cars. We had our caravan committee making up pancakes and handing them to you. And the pancake breakfast, we initially were just going to do one, but they became so popular. We've got 4 scheduled, and not just on Stampede Park, but throughout Calgary as well, up at Crossiron Mills, just north of Calgary, and Spruce Meadows. We've done the food trucks where we brought in the YYC food trucks to do some of the fun food that you find at Stampede, the first few days of Stampede, and then again they're at locations throughout Calgary as a drive-through event. Just trying to keep everybody safe, but giving them a little taste of Stampede with the pancake breakfast and the drive-through fun food. We also have some things on our website that Zoom backgrounds that you can download, Instagram emojis that we've made for Stampede that you can use, as well as commemorative t-shirts. I'm wearing my "We Will Ride Again" with the mini donuts. There's 3 different styles that you can get, and you know, I think even Lamley's has a commemorative belt buckle that's always based on the Stampede poster every year. So these items I think are going to be souvenir items. I mean, if anybody remembers back to 2013 when we had the flood that happened 2 weeks before the beginning of Stampede, became known as the Hell or High Water Calgary Stampede, because we did go ahead and put it on with huge community support. And we created commemorative t-shirts then as well that the proceeds went to the Alberta Red Cross and raised over $2 million. And so I think, you know, these t-shirts are also going to be the commemorative ones to remember as well. So, so we do have some stampeding at home ideas on our website. And, you know, so this was the first time that you know, Stampede was ever canceled. It started in 1912. It wasn't going every year until 1923. And so this is the first time we've ever had a cancellation, but you know, we're all in this together, right? Everybody else is kind of going through the same things we are. So that's Stampede 2020. I'm coming to you wearing my cowboy hat and wearing my t-shirt, but I've got my fluffy slippers on under here because I thought, well, I don't have to wear my boots, so I'm gonna save my feet. But I'm here at home, and just to let you know, I do have 3 cats. So if one of them, and I have one cat in particular that does not like me working from home, so he may make an appearance. I have another cat that likes to climb onto the keyboard, and then the third one really could care less that I'm I'm here working. So and I also just wanted to bring in my horse Sam. This is a piece I got commissioned earlier this year from a Calgary artist, and he won't be interrupting us because he is out at the farm. But let me just sort of launch into a few items for, you know, we are hoping to all meet in 2020, July 9th to the 18th of 2021, sorry, and for that 10-day event. And I've heard some people comment saying, well, next year is Stampede going to do it even longer than the 10 days? And certainly there is no word that that will be longer than the 10 days, but you never know. We don't know what it's going to look like a year from now, but we certainly are hoping we're going to be stampeding, and it kicks off with a great big parade. I think we'll just advance a slide. Darcie's going to be driving my PowerPoint for me. That's great. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, it started in 1912. It was actually started by an American from Rochester, New York. His name was Guy Wiedeck. He was traveling with his lovely wife, Florence Ledoux, who was the world champion fancy trick roper from Minnesota. And they met in Wild West shows and married and fell in love with the Alberta landscape and area. And Guy Wiedeck was very much a dreamer and an entrepreneur, and it was his dream to have a cowboy festival for the West that he saw slipping away in 1912. And he wanted, you know, initially just one big hurrah to make it happen. And then here we are 108 years later. But, you know, he gets a lot of the credit, but really Florence was the firecracker behind this partnership, a very powerful lady. And they didn't have any children. They are buried in High River, which is just south of Calgary, and you can go visit and see it down there. But we owe a lot to Guy Wiedeck. And that is our tie, of course, to the U.S. The poster on the right was it is the 108th edition of the Calgary Stampede commemorative poster every year. Ever since Stampede started in 1912, we've commissioned an artist to do the souvenir poster. And back in the day, it was the main marketing tool. Now it is very much sort of a piece of art and memorabilia that people like to collect. And we've seen stories of people with Stampede posters all over the world. And this year's was the youngest artist ever. It was a youth competition with a scholarship of $10,000. And it was a lovely young lady from here in Alberta that did win the scholarship competition. So she kind of has the, you know, the commemorative poster of all time, I think, with Stampede. And she had put the 108 on the back of the competitor's penny there because it was the 108th Calgary Stampede. And now on to the next slide. This was a drone aerial shot that we took of Stampede last year. And you can just sort of see how big Stampede Park is. It's close to 300 acres, and it's right along the Elbow River. That's the Elbow River that runs along the front there on 3 sides of Stampede Park. So you can see when in 2013 we had the 100-year flood, why it affected the Calgary Stampede so greatly. And it's very close, Stampede Park, to downtown. This is the original spot that Stampede started in 1912, and really Calgary's grown up all around it. There was a huge boom in 1912 where a lot of houses and buildings were built. But there is downtown Calgary, very close. You can walk virtually to some of the hotels, especially in East Village, where you saw Studio Bell and the Simmons building that Darcie highlighted earlier. Those are virtually walking distance from one of the entry points to Stampede Park. But there is light rail transit, the LRT, C-train as we call it here in Calgary. And it is one stop beyond downtown for the first Stampede stop. And then we actually have 2 LRT stations on Park. So it really is the best way to get around. Parking is a little bit at a premium because we are so close to that downtown core and residential areas. So we really advise, you know, take an Uber, take the C train. You can take a scooter, one of the scooters that you can rent. Bicycles, we have bicycle roundups at the entry points that you can ride your bike. And so lots of transportation means to get to Stampede Park. You can see the grandstand off to the left here with the track around it. So the rodeo takes place right in front of that grandstand that holds about 20,000 people. And then the evening show comes on at night in that same venue starting at 8 o'clock. With the chuck wagon races, and then goes right into the grandstand stage show. And a little bit, I'm not sure if we can see it, we've got Darcie's beautiful face over it here, but this is Elbow River Camp, and there are 26 teepees set up there, and we have a little video later on to tell you all about that. It kicks off with a big parade through downtown Calgary. Over 400,000 people usually line the parade route. It all is televised nationally as well. And it is the 2nd largest parade in all of North America, #1 being the Rose Bowl Parade in Pasadena. But we have many more horses than they do. We have over 700 horses that are in the parade. So we've got marching bands and floats and the Mounties and the Stampede Royalty. There's the Stampede Queen and Princesses on horseback there. And of course we have the pooper scoopers that come in between the parade, the marching band, and the horses just to clean up. We go right into the pro rodeo the very first day, and all 10 days. The very last day of Stampede would be the finals. So the competitors that have qualified for the final event on the final Sunday. Otherwise, it is the same format every day. Starts at 1:30, goes till roughly 4 o'clock. The last couple of days, it'll go a bit longer as we hand out awards and prizes, etc. But all 6 events go every single day. So really doesn't matter which day you go. There's rodeo announcers, there's video, there's, it moves very, very, very fast. So even if you don't know nothing about rodeo, the announcers are gonna explain everything to you. And you know, say 8 seconds may not sound like much, but that's a hard day at the office, and the only time a man will be cheered for lasting 8 seconds as well, I might add. The evening show goes on every night in that same venue. It's a double header with the chuck wagon races. Chuck means food in cowboy terminology. These were the food wagons for the original food trucks that were out on the prairies feeding the cowboys. They'd race to the next campsite and then the town site. And that's how chuck wagon racing started. It has evolved very much since then to be these light microfiber wagons and thoroughbred horses rather than the quarter horses. These thoroughbreds come from racetracks all over North America. It really is their second career, second opportunity to do what they love, which is run. They are very well taken care of, 36 drivers in all. So you can imagine that's a lot of horses that are really given a second chance after their racing career is over. We also have a couple of new events that we've been adding the last couple of years. Ladies side saddle racing. This goes usually the first weekend of Stampede. These ladies just amaze me. They're amazing equestrians. Of course, they are riding side saddle, and there was a race. It's about half the length of the track to see them, and they're in their traditional kind of heritage costume and regalia, and we just one of my favorite things to watch. Another event that's become a huge crowd pleaser are the relay races, and these are teams of Indigenous riders from Canada and USA. And they is one rider per team, but they'll have 3 horses on each team, and they have to ride each horse just once around the track. That's the same rider. And the thing is, they're all bareback. There's no saddles. So they are jumping from one galloping horse onto the next horse that's about to gallop. And the crowd just loves it. And again, you know, I'm talking about amazing equestrians. The skill level is next level. And you know, if you're a horse lover, you'll really appreciate just the equestrian skill and care of these horses. It just blows me away. Great fun event. I mentioned it's a double header. So after that is the 90-minute grandstand stage show that comes on right after it. Doesn't get dark till well after 10 o'clock. So that's when the stage show starts. And it's all choreographed to fireworks. And of course, as I mentioned, we still have those fireworks going on. Beginning of Stampede and the last night of Stampede here in Calgary. But the Young Canadians is the performing arts group that children age 6 to 21 years of age compete, or, you know, they go all year long taking all the disciplines of song and dance and culminating in this 10-day event at the Stampede. But it's a really great performing arts school for kids that just are, you know, just really artistic and want to follow their talents along that route. Elbow River Camp, we're going to see a video from Vanessa in a minute here, who was the 2016 First Nation princess. But Elbow River Camp has been part of the Stampede since the very first one. The parade, the rodeo, and Elbow River Camp have all been part of the Stampede since the very first one in 1912. And Elbow River Camp has 26 teepees. This is a real showcase for the Treaty Number 7 in Alberta. And what's so very special about this spot is back in 1912, and Vanessa will tell you a little bit more about this, but in 1912, it was illegal for our First Nation people to practice their customs, speak their language, wear regalia, storytelling, not just off the reservation, but on the reservation that they lived on. And if they wanted to leave the reservation, they had to apply for permission to leave through something called the Indian Act. And Guy Wiedeck, the founder, had such a good relationship with our Treaty 7. He wanted them to be part of the Stampede from the very first one, and authentically, you know, practicing their culture and be proud and showcase it to the world. And he wrote letters all the way up to the Prime Minister. He got influential people involved, and they made it happen. And, you know, despite it being actually illegal at that time, there was encampment, First Nation encampment at the very first Stampede. Now the government tried to tighten up those controls for the next few years so that wouldn't happen again. And Guy Wiedeck would say, well, I haven't invited them back. And meanwhile, he was like, come on, move in, and just beg for forgiveness every year. And so, you know, it's been a part, and what that's done is preserve the Blackfoot language and the storytelling and passed it on through the generations. So the teepee owners today, a lot of them can trace their teepee back to the original through their generation and family to the very first Stampede. Oh, we've got one of Vanessa's videos. So Vanessa Stiffarm. Did you want to introduce her, Darcie, or do you want me to?
Lindsay, you know her personally. So
okay, yeah, I mean, Vanessa is such a special lady. She was, as I say, the 2016 First Nation Princess, representing the Elbow River Camp and all the teepee owners and of the 5 nations that make up Treaty 7. And she is from the Kainai, or the Blood Nation, down near Lethbridge, and she goes to the University of Lethbridge, and she's studying to be a doctor, specifically a pediatrician. And this girl is amazing. I just love her to bits. So let's see if we can.
Okay, hello, my name is Vanessa Stiffarm. I was a First Nations Princess alumni. I volunteer with the First Nations Events Committee, and I've been working with the Calgary Stampede for the past couple of years. And I want to thank Anderson Vacations for inviting me today for the webinar. I actually like to start with the history of the Elbow River Camp. In 1912, when the Stampede first started, Guy Wiedeck really wanted to share Western cultures and values, and he wanted to make sure First Nations were there. So he worked really hard with the government to get us here, and it was such a big deal because as First Nations people, it was illegal for us to wear our regalia, speak our language, do our ceremonies, or even practice anything regarding our cultures. So for us to be here to practice that in 1912 was such a big deal to all First Nations. And we actually led the parade in 1912 with about under 2,000 of us leading the parade. And that's actually one of the 3 things that still continue with Stampede is the rodeo, the parade, and then Elbow River Camp. And we actually have 26 teepees here from 5 nations. We have Stoney Nakoda, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, and Tsuut'ina. And back in the day when because we all spoke a different language, we had Dene, Stoney, and Blackfoot, we'd either do sign language, point at our elbow, to represent that we were coming here for Stampede, which is why we named it the Elbow River Camp, and I hope to see all of you here in the future.
Isn't that great? I love that.
Okay, hello, my name is Vanessa Stiffarm.
Same one.
That was her Blackfoot greeting. Yes.
Perfect. That was
There's
lovely.
another video.
Second video of Vanessa.
Yeah, just telling you what you will see at Elbow River Camp as well.
Thank you.
During Stampede.
So we're actually at NMAX Park right now on Stampede grounds, where Elbow River Camp is held for the 10 days of Stampede. Right behind me, I have the bannock booth, where you can get some delicious bannock, bannock tacos, or even bannock with Saskatoon jam, which is usually my favorite. We also have the arbor behind us, which actually has the powwows. We have meat cutting competition. Our biggest hit is actually our youth powwow. So we'll have dancers from 5 months to all the way to 17, and they're just great to see. We also have a new competition, our cowboy powwow special, where we have some of we try to mix some Stampede culture, Western culture with First Nation dancers. And that's also have been a really big hit lately. Right over here, if you can see, we usually have the 26 teepees from Treaty 7. So as I said again, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Stoney, and Tsuut'ina. And every day we'll have a new teepee that's open. You're more than welcome to come visit the families. And they kind of tell you a little history of how long they've been here since 1912, because the teepees usually have been passed down from generation to generation. And then along the river here, we actually have our vendors, and you can get some amazing beadwork, artwork, clothing, earrings, anything you can think of. And I really hope you all come out here and visit us here in Elbow River Camp.
That was great.
Elbow River Camp is included with your ticket, your admission to Stampede. There was an additional cost to it, but it's a lovely, beautiful, kind of restful place to go visit, and I love it a lot.
Just a few more slides, everyone. We have the questions coming up in just a couple minutes. So if you can hang on with us for just a few more minutes, we just have to get through a couple more.
Oh yeah, just a couple more slides here. One is the music. We're one of the largest music festivals in Canada. We would have had Blake Shelton this year. Hopefully he'll come back next year. Midway rides and games, of course, yeah, you know, it's always great to come down and experience those things. And we just encourage people to create their own sort of fun tier at home, things to do with their own barbecue backyard bashes that we encourage people to do to Stampede at home. Agriculture, one of my favorite parts. Again, all these events are, Western events are free with your admission, and you know, if you love horses, it's just, there's all different breeds and draft horses and competitions going on. We're going to send out a pancake breakfast afterwards, after this webinar. This is one that Caravan Committee puts on, so if you're making pancakes for about 60,000 of your closest friends, this will be a great recipe. But we do have another one that's also for some Red Path fluffy pancakes that Pip will send to you after as well.
And what do you call these in Calgary?
Carbs are good, and you know, you'll find them all over Calgary during Stampede. No need to ever buy breakfast.
And I've heard you refer to them as free and flat many times.
They are free and they're flat, absolutely. You know, it started in 1923 when one of the chuck wagon drivers just pulled up in front of the Palliser Hotel and started serving them up out of the back of his wagons, free and flat. And it's become a tradition ever since then.
Awesome.
Midway Fun Food, as I mentioned, we have the drive-throughs going on, so we can still sort of experience that side of Stampede this year. But every year we've been introducing like at least 50 to 100 new fun foods that you'll only find at the Stampede first. The picture down at the bottom is the Octo Lolly, and I know the food trucks here in Calgary are serving that up during Stampede this week. So you can get an Octo Lolly, but there was butter beer and pickle pizza and cookie dough donuts last year, pickle popsicles, lots of pickle themes last year.
Looks yummy. I love the octopus one for sure.
Dr. Leg. Shopping, of course, you know, all you need to do is put on a cowboy hat to fit in during Stampede. Of course, we've had Prince William and Kate just after they got married, who looked spectacular in their Smith-built hats and their Alberta boot company made boots. And of course, we have lots of the celebrities and visitors every year. Justin Trudeau usually, or whoever the Prime Minister of Canada is, usually always comes to the Stampede as well. So. And I know we saw earlier some of the art murals in Calgary. There's a lot of public art down at Stampede Park, and Calgary Walking Tours has a walking tour that you can do with them, where year-round that it take you through Stampede Park and highlight some of the public art that's right on Stampede Park, and we're always adding new pieces to that, so it's kind of ever-changing. These are our two main ticket packages, 2-day thrill and Chaps and Chucks. And they include both a rodeo and evening show ticket with both of them, and then some souvenir items, just different price points depending where your seat is within the grandstand for those two events. And there's just a picture of the grandstand there. As I mentioned, it's close to 20,000 seats. And that was, I think, a picture actually from 2012 when it was our 100-year centennial, and we did sell out all 10 rodeos, all 10 evening show event that year. So that's always kind of our benchmark. We're always pretty close. Last year we had 1.3 million visitors. So I think next year is going to be a great year for some pent up demand to get out there and visit.
It's strange seeing a crowd that large right now. Like,
I know. Isn't it so bizarre? Like,
it's just weird.
A few short months here, but hopefully by next year, you know. And there's our dates for 2021 and 2022. So next year, that's the latest we start Stampede, is July 9th. Always kicks off on a Friday, goes for the 10 days. And this is our big, you know, we did say yeehaw earlier, but a little insider tip, it's always Yahoo for some reason at the Calgary Stampede. And this was a big campaign we had last year. And we had these hay bales with the and then the hay bales at all sort of entry points coming into Calgary last year. So it was a great sort of Instagrammable shot that you could take.
I practiced yeehaw all day.
Yeah, you know, both they're both good. They're both acceptable.
Next year, July 9th to the 18th. So we're looking forward to that, yes, for sure. And yeah, so before I let you go, Lindsay, thank you for your great presentation on Calgary Stampede. I've traveled many times with you and you have such a passion for it. We love Calgary Stampede. We can't wait until you're back. And of course, we have a recipe for mini donuts because, you know, that's Calgary Stampede. So yes, we always show a recipe and then you don't have to write it down. We will send it out to everyone who was attendance. So we'll email that out to you. And now I have some questions for all of you. They're going to pop up on the next screen. I'm going to leave the screen up for a little bit. And oh, can you see them? Because the thing's in the way, the window's in the way. Let me see if I move it out of the way. So number one, during Stampede Week, what does free and flat refer to? So jot these down on a piece of paper in your phone or somewhere, and then send me an email with your answers. I will leave this up for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to email it out to you afterwards. So if you don't get the questions right away, we'll email them to you, and we'll give you an extra day to answer and send them back to us. During Stampede Week, what does free and flat refer to? Number two, what are the dates of the 2021 Calgary Stampede? You might have noticed I was giving you hints along the way. And what is the bicycle brewery tour in Calgary called? This is worth your while to enter this contest because we have some fabulous prizes that we will send out to you. Again, Lindsay, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Thank you to all of our guests joining us this evening for a little journey around Calgary, our hometown, where our fabulous staff are that truly love this city of Calgary and the province of Alberta. I want you to all stay safe and think about Canada for yourself, for your clients, for their next vacation, because you want to travel in your own backyard, that's for sure. And that's what we're here to do, is to support you, our travel partners. Thanks for being proactive. Thanks for being on this webinar with us, and we look forward to you joining us in a couple of weeks. I believe the next one in 2 weeks will be on Quebec, Hopefully, again, an interactive presentation. We're trying to, every time, add a little bit more components to this. So thanks again, Lindsay. Thank you to all of you, and have a wonderful, lovely, hopefully warm weekend wherever you are.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Take care. Bye.
Yahoo.
Bye for now.